Hey everyone, I'm Steve Martin, Managing Partner here at SRQ Wealth, where we help families find their freedom by simplifying their financial lives. Now you've probably seen a few headlines lately saying things like, the dollar is collapsing, or the dollar's days are numbered. Yeah, it sounds dramatic, and honestly, it's meant to be. But before we get swept up in the noise, let's slow down and talk about what's really going on right now with the US dollar. You see, this isn't the first time that we've heard the dollar's dying. Back in 1968, a writer named William Rickenbacker published a book called The Death of the Dollar. Inflation was high, the Vietnam War was raging, and the gold standard was falling apart. And now here we are, more than 50 years later, still buying, trading, and investing in dollars. Now in 2025, we're seeing some new challenges. The dollar has had one of its toughest starts in decades. It's down roughly 10% against other major currencies. But its share of global reserves dipped from 60% to about 58%. So yeah, the dollar's under some pressure, but pressure isn't the same thing as collapse. So why is this happening? Well, a few things are working together. Interest rates are changing, other countries, currencies are catching some strength. And globally, people are asking, is the dollar always going to be the world's safe haven? Normally when markets get shaky, the dollar jumps because investors run to safety. But this year, that reaction's been a little different, and that's caught people's attention. Still, even with those shifts, the dollar remains the world's anchor. Not because it's flawless, but because it's trusted. The reason the dollar keeps its strength really comes down to three things: depth, demand, and trust. Let's go over each one of those. Depth. Our markets are massive and they're liquid. Investors can move money in and out easily. How about demand? The world still runs on dollars. Roughly 60% of all foreign reserves are held in greenbacks, and more than half of global trade happens in dollars. And trust. The US still has one of the most stable and most transparent financial systems on the planet. So when things feel uncertain, when you start to question the system, but people still rely on it. Now, if you're reading about the death of the dollar, it's okay to feel a bit uneasy. But here's the reality. This isn't about panic, it's about perspective. The dollar's value can fluctuate, but that doesn't mean it's failing. In fact, it's a reminder of why you want a well-diversified portfolio. One that's ready for change, not just built for headlines. A slightly weaker dollar could affect things like imports and inflation, but it also makes US exports and international investments more attractive. In other words, change can create opportunity if you're positioned right. So no, the dollar isn't dying. It's just being tested. And so far it's passing those tests. Headlines come and go, but perspective, that's what lasts. And that's why here at SRQ Wealth, we focus on helping families build confidence through all kinds of markets, not just the calm ones. Well, congratulations. I'm Steve Martin, and you've just taken another step on your journey to true wealth. And remember, the real measure of our wealth is not by the numbers on our balance sheets, but rather by how much wealth we would have if we had no numbers on our balance sheet. Let that soak in, and we'll see you next time. God bless.